Muslims say that the Quran says that Jesus was not crucified, and so the biblical narrative of the crucifixion is false. But let us scrutinize the Quran itself and seek to know what really happened. This is Al-Haqq Apologetics, and it's good to have you once again. One of the things we know about the truth is that it is sacrosanct. The truth will always remain the truth, even in the face of lies and many attacks. Here it is today. I have with me my Quran, and I want the Quran to speak for itself and also give us details of what transpired even at Golgotha. Now, Quran number 4, ayah 157 says that they said in boast, "We killed Jesus Christ, the son of Mary, the messenger of Allah, but they killed him not, nor crucified him. Only a likeness of that was shown of them, was showed to them. And those who differ therein are full of doubt, with no certain knowledge, but only conjecture to follow. For of a surety they killed him not." Period. That is where the Quran ends. But we want to know what really happened, because the Quran says that there was a likeness. The Quran says that the people saw what looked like a crucifixion. We just want to know what really happened, because the Bible has given us real picture of what transpired, even up to the point of telling us what Jesus said on the cross. The Bible tells us of Jesus' prayers at Gethsemane. The Bible tells us how many times he came to meet his disciples to ask them to pray with him. The Bible tells us of how Judas Iscariot came to betray him. The Bible tells us even how he was arrested. Peter cut off the ear of one of the soldiers. Peter denied Jesus. A little girl met Jesus. Jesus was questioned by the chief priest. Jesus was taken to Pilate. There is all this evidence which can also be found in historical records and writings of the people of old, up to the point of Jesus being crucified. The things and the words that Jesus said on the cross, the people that were crucified with Jesus, the Bible has all these details, and nobody has ever contested this story as false. Nobody. In fact, it is written that even the Jews and the Romans tried to conspire against the resurrection of Jesus, which means that the crucifixion was real. It was genuine and legit. But here we are, after 600 years of this story being told around and people believing in it. Even those that were of the Jewish stock and those that were of the Gentile stock believed in this biblical narrative. 600 years later, somebody from the Middle East wakes up and claims that he has a superior argument to this. And we are asking this person, we are asking the book, the Quran, to give us details of what transpired. Since the Quran says this is a false narrative, the Quran should have a superior narrative, superior details, should be able to tell us what really transpired. But the Quran says no. I mean, it's just like saying somebody got married and there was an eyewitness to that marriage, and the person tells you that a bride price was paid, people came from several places to attend, we were served food, we danced with the groom and the bride, we sprayed money on them, and then somebody just wakes up a few days later and says, it's a lie, that did not happen. What you saw was just a picture, like it happened, but it never happened. And we ask this person who is attacking the truth, and we say, please give us what happened. We want to know, we want to hear from your own part what really happened, because you should be able to counter this whole narrative, up to the point that we have when Jesus was struck in the face, he was spat upon. We have it up to the point that he was stripped naked, his clothes was, they cast lot on his clothes, and he was put a crown of thorns upon him. We have up to the point that he called somebody and handed over his mother to the person and said, behold your son, behold your mother. We have all this narrative, and the Quran said no, it didn't happen. But we say, okay, Quran, on Muhammad, okay, it's okay. We would want to believe you if you can give us a stronger argument. I mean, Muslims should ask. There should be an asking. I mean, I asked a Muslim some time ago, I said, what really happened? Why would the Quran not give us details, a narration of what really transpired? And he said, oh, the Quran is not a storybook. But why would you say the Quran is not a storybook when Surah Al-Qasas, that is Surah 28, gives a narration of what transpired in the burning bush between God and Moses? Although that story is a complete plagiarism from the Holy Bible with a whole lot of distortion and modification, but the Quran took time to give a narration of how Moses was traveling with his family, and he said, I perceive there is a fire, permit me to go, and perhaps I will get an information or bring some fire to keep us warm. And he went and he saw a fire, and he was called on the other side by a tree, or from a tree, and God says, I am Allah, the Lords of the world. So if the Quran can give a narration, a story of what transpired between Moses and God in the burning bush, why wouldn't the Quran give us a narration and the details of what transpired at Golgotha? Since the Quran says that it did not happen, and what happened was just a camouflage. We will get back to this topic, but I want us to think. I want every Muslim to ask this question: what is the detail, and what and why has the Quran refused to tell us what happened with regards to such important information and such important situation and scenario that is believed by billions of people today? This should not be a mistake, but a deliberate attack on the salvation plan of God. Shukran.